Welcome to a new week of shows on The Perspective with Mike Sherbino and Julie Stautland. This week we feature courageous game changers who are overcoming the odds through their faith in God, including a live update from Ukraine with Pastor Pavlo Lozinski, who is back on the program to share some of the unspeakable anguish his people are coping through yet again. Plus, Angela Trechenko, who evacuated Ukraine 1 week before the war started, is here to tell her story. Chinwe Eseme gets back to the heart of what unites us, not divides us, in her latest book, Brilliance Beyond Borders. Plus, Rachel Joy Baribeau is an author and former ESPN broadcaster who's changing the narrative, promoting what she calls good love for ourselves and others. And husband and wife teams simultaneously releasing their new books. Sheila Ray Gregoire and Keith Gregoire write about marriage, family, and sex. Plus, JT Jester's new book gives a different perspective on bad days, here in North America anyway, and he should know his story will inspire you. And we continue here on The Perspective to pray for the innocent people of Ukraine and Russia and those facing the inexplicable atrocities of war around the world.
Well, we're really glad you're with us today on The Perspective. Julie, I'm glad you're here as well.
I'm always glad to be here.
I'm excited for the guest that we have today. We're going to be talking about his book, No Bad Days.
Yes.
So before we talk about that, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What would be your ideal good day? Now, I know there's a lot of things you could say, but what would be one or two things you'd want to do?
Okay.
Have a little bit of fun with it.
Be with family.
Okay.
And probably do something fun on the water because it would be a beautiful temperature. How about you?
Well, you know, the family thing and all that stuff, but okay, here it is. I think on the water, I'd want to slalom water ski and just be a bit of a hot dog again when you lean over and touch the water and show off to the girls on the beach, you know, going back, 75 years or 80 years ago.
You've really taken this.
Oh, yeah. No, I was slaloming last year, so yeah, I'm going to work on that.
Okay.
I mean, those are some fun things. Riding my motorcycle, different things like that.
That's nice.
I like that. But you know, one of the other things, and this might sound a little weird to people, but nothing excites me more than talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
I just get excited about that, the opportunities that I get to tell people about where you can find hope and meaning in this journey called life. So today, stay with us. We got a great program. It's called No Bad Days. We got JT Jester with us. We're going to be right back after a short break. Well, I'm so glad that you get to meet our next guest. I have just met him recently as well and been inspired by what he has been doing. JT Jester, we're so glad you're with us today. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, you know, and as we were kind of joking before we went to tape, you know, we always say we're excited to have people on the program, and we are, but with you, I am really excited. I was so inspired watching one of the clips of a great accomplishment you did. It's called 29-0-29, and we're going to ask you about that in a moment. But you've written a book called There Are No Bad Days. Talk to me about that and just share a little bit about some of the obstacles that you've had to deal with since birth.
Yeah, so No Bad Days is a story that came about actually when my dad was actually leaning over my hospital bed and he was saying to me, he said, JT, I am so sorry for what you're going through. And I turned to him and I said, Dad, it's okay. There are no bad days. There's only hard days and we get through those. And
wow.
I was a youngster at the time. So, you know, I think that was the good Lord talking through me. But it's true. We're blessed every day to wake up and be able to do the things that we do and breathe the air around us. But No Bad Days is a book about overcoming hardship from me, my medical side of things, and then, education challenges. And then it pulls into perspective a lot of other people's stories and their journey. And so, my medical journey started at birth and has been a challenge since then. I've had 16 operations. was born with something called vectoral syndrome. And vectoral syndrome affects different parts of your body. For me, it was the GI system. So from the top of the esophagus all the way down was compromised and had to be repaired at birth and on. And then from there, I had what they call tethered spinal cord, which is another aspect of the syndrome. And so my early life, I had a colostomy for the first few years of my life. And then with the good Lord's help and of putting amazing doctors in our life, was able to, have surgery to fix that lower GI system and the intestines, and had 18 inches of my colon removed. And then from there, I still have no motility from the top of my esophagus all the way down. So with that, I do a bowel management program every day, and I've been blessed to have a great quality of life because of what the doctors have done for me.
Wow, you're so remarkable just sharing that, all that you've gone through so far, and how you've been able to be positive and find joy in your relationship with God. It's just incredible. And I can see why you've written the book. Tell us a little bit about what's in the book and what a reader will find and discover.
Yeah. So in the book, it has parts of my journey and my journey in life, but it really encapsulates people that have taught me something through life or have been a part of my life, or even stories of people that, I've just recently met and are outside of my life, and how they have overcome challenges. One story that I absolutely love is a story of, it's called a trip to Holland. Mm-hmm. And this lady is getting on a flight, and she is going to Holland, she's going to Italy, and she's all excited. She has her clothes picked out. She has her itinerary, and she's just thrilled to be on this trip. Well, she lands. And when she lands, she's actually lands in Holland. And the flight attendant says, "Welcome to Holland." And her life was thrown off kilter then. And so she had to find new itinerary, find new things to do, and really have to learn a whole new language and a lot. So then she gets on the plane, she flies back, and she lands, and everyone's talking about their trip to Italy. And she realizes that in her life, this journey was not expected, but she found amazing people. She found amazing things. She found that she fell in love with it. And it was a perspective on her actual life. And her actual life, she was born with a handicapped child with Down syndrome. And he was told that he'd never be able to amount to anything in certain areas. And he blew that out of the park and did amazing things in his life and her life too. And she found out how important it was and how good it was to love him and to see his accomplishments.
Well, JT, as you're talking about that, I had a brother with Down syndrome, and the things that he was able to overcome were amazing. And, as we were talking a little bit of fun, what would be a perfect day at the beginning of the program? And I was thinking about water skiing and stuff like that. For Stephen, who wasn't able to swim or do anything, it was that was my brother, he'd get to the end of the diving board and he'd do a bum drop on the board and go into the pool. And awesome. He didn't swim, he just walked on the bottom. And he must have drank the whole pool all the time, but he loved the water. Okay, I got to ask you a couple questions. And as you shared in just a snippet, some of the horrific things that you've had to go through, 16 surgeries, I can't get my head around that. What were some of the inspirational things that kept you going? What did people say to you, or how did you think in those times?
I talk a lot about in No Bad Days, finding your tribe. And for me, I was blessed because at birth, I had that tribe starting. And so, as the journey continued with finding my tribe, more and more people came into my life to help motivate me and push me. And with that, pushing me in my medical side of things to overcome things. And then the education piece with dyslexia and learning to read. and then my faith journey too. And really just, what my grandma always says is, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And, who we surround ourselves with is who we'll become, because it's so important to have those main people in your life that can help motivate you in the hard times and push you, to exceed even more than you expected in the hard times and the good times.
Yeah, your grandma was pretty wise. That's so true.
For sure.
Yeah, someone said if you, it's hard to soar with the eagles if you're surrounded by turkeys, but that's a little paraphrase of that. Give me, just before we go to the break, give us one pearl of wisdom that you hold on to every day.
Yeah, waking up with a smile. I think that is crucial, and I've been blessed with that. But it's so true. A smile can change someone's outlook on the day, and you don't even know it impacted them, but it truly is powerful.
Right on the money. Absolutely. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break with more with JT Jester.
Is today starting off as one of those hard days? Is it one of those days where you simply got up on the wrong side of the bed? Does everything seem to be piling up around you? You may feel as if nothing can make this day better, let alone change your mood. Tired? Anxious? Ever wondered if the storm clouds building above you will ever go away? Imagine if every day could be a good one, even when things go wrong and remain uncertain. In No Bad Days, How to Find Joy in Any Circumstance, JT details the incredible story of how he overcame what seemed like insurmountable odds and shares the many invaluable lessons he has learned throughout his life.
All right, JT, the tagline of your book reads, How to Find Joy in Any Circumstance. There's so much going on in our world right now, as you know, politically, socially, and spiritually. Yes. And many people are overwhelmed by it all. Given your experience, can you give us all some practical suggestions to find joy, like you started before the break, amidst the struggle? Like your perspective and your tribe, those are two amazing things. Do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Waking up with a smile.
Yeah, waking up with a smile.
Yes. I think that one thing is yes, what's going on around the world right now is just so sad and sad, and we have to send our prayers to so many areas. But one thing in my life is been finding my tribe, sharing my story, and knowing that we are gonna fall, and so in my life there's the way I have found joy is being able to have those people that I share the same passions with, and am able to go out and enjoy Mother Nature and what the good Lord has blessed us with out there. And knowing that when we fall, that, we have to get back up, and we have to stay motivated to find that joy and to continue on. And I'll give you one quick story of just how in the book it talks about falling, and it's a sports term, but I was learning. I had been skiing for many years, and my passion for skiing is very big. And so I had a gentleman who said, "I'm going to teach you how to fall, JT." And so on this journey, he became, first off, a very close friend of ours, but he got on to the chairlift with me and brought me to the top. And he said, "Okay, JT, you're going to learn to fall." And I said, "Lottie, I love skiing. Why do I need to learn to fall?" And so the moral of the story is we were falling down from the left to the right, and we were getting back up. And in skiing, it taught us how to get back up and how to get over those challenging, incidences. And in life, that's so important. And ways to do that is to find your tribe, the people that can help you do that, and to share your story, because we all have a story that matters and is so important to share. And so that's, one of the biggest things I think is being able to express yourself to someone else, allows them to open up to you, and you both can help each other out.
JT, I know you're not a complainer, but I want to give you permission for a moment. Tell me about one of your hardest falls and what it was like to get up. Are you able to go there?
Yeah, totally. I think the medical side of things is one thing, but one challenging moment for me in my life was the education path. And from first to fifth grade, we had realized that, dyslexia and my learning, reading and writing were much slower. And with that, we needed to figure out a way to get me there. But in fifth grade, I was at a school, and the school headmaster came to me, and we had known that my reading and stuff was very slow and that we needed to figure out some program that worked. We'd tried many programs, Linda Mood Bell, Hooked on Phonics, Discovery Read, you name it, we tried it. And so in fifth grade, I was told by the headmaster of the school, JT, I'm sorry, but next semester, you're not going to be able to come back to this school because you're not keeping up with the other kids.
Wow, that's big.
As a fifth grader, I ran home at the end of the day there. And I remember laying on the floor and just saying to my mom, I don't care about any of the medical stuff. I just want to be able to read and write like every other kid. And that was a pivotal moment for my family. And we ended up finding a program that I've been blessed to be a part of, and it has really impacted my life and helped me to be able to read and write, and now to publish 2 books, from Untethered to No Bad Days. But I think the important thing is we're all going to fall, and we're all going to be devastated with certain things. And that was a devastating moment for me. But looking back at it, if it wasn't for that gentleman, and if it wasn't for that circumstance, I would not have been able to get to where I am today. And so sometimes it might be blinding, but there's always a positive that comes out of it.
Right. That's what I was thinking, that, sometimes when we have those really low moments, that they're very pivotal times for us to see a brand new door open up for us. Like, JT, I've heard you mention the term getting unstuck. Why do you think people sometimes get stuck and have such a hard time getting unstuck?
Yeah. We all have those moments that it's like, I just can't get back up. Right.
Yeah.
And my advice to that is, finding your tribe, and your tribe starts with the good Lord. I mean, that's first and foremost. And then from there, having your family and friends. And for me, my journey with my faith and with the good Lord has been, so blessed because I've been, with the reading being hard for me, it was always a challenge for me to understand scripture and things like that. But I've found such an amazing network of people to motivate me, push me, and to, help me learn what I want to learn. And so in No Bad Days, it really, highlights how many people have gotten through those hardships and how they have, found something in their life to motivate them to get back to where they want to be.
JT, as you share that, it is motivational just to hear that. It's an encouragement. It's a reminder to me that I am not going to complain. You had those operations with your digestive system, and I complain about heartburn. So I'm just going to shut up. But tell me about 29029. We got about a minute left. Tell me about that amazing story.
So it was an incredible experience. The physical area of my life, being able to enjoy the outdoors, has been huge. And I talk about in No Bad Days, finding your passions, finding your joy. And that was one of my joys, was pushing my body to the limit and learning so much along the way.
But
and
tell
so
our viewers what you're pushing your body, like explain that. What were you doing with all your friends?
Yeah. So 29029 is the elevation of Mount Everest. And so you have the opportunity to go here in the States and climb a mountain. Mine was Snow Basin in Utah. Okay. And so you climb up and you take the chairlift down and you do it 13 times in 36 hours. So it was quite an experience. And Mike, I think you would love it because it sounds like you love the outdoors and the water skiing and the sports aspect too.
Wow.
That's a whole other story in itself. But You know what? I think I need to go to a psychiatrist with you, but hey, it just sounds like fun. So much fun. JT, it's been inspiring talking to you. I want to encourage people to get your book, No Bad Days. I'm thinking about that, and thank you for shaping my thought life today. I am grateful.
Well, thank you. And the book, No Bad Days, is, there are hard days, but we get through those. So everyone continue to stay motivated and stay motivated in your faith journey as well.
Thank you so much, JT. Up next, Mike's Got the Work.
Hi, my name is JT Jester, author of No Bad Days, How to Find Joy in Any Circumstance. No Bad Days is a book about joy. It is not a self-help book, nor is it a biography. It's a story of how to get unstuck from bad days through the lens of life-changing stories from everyday people who have overcome challenges and adversities because they found unexplainable joy amidst turmoil. You see, it is joy that will keep you in peace. It is peace that supplies you with the courage, and it is the courage that will help you with understanding.
You know, when you hear the story of someone like JT Jester and what he's overcome and what he's doing and how he's giving back to society, we realize that his faith has been his anchor. It is what has sustained him. It is what has caused him to press on. But there are days, aren't there? There are those dark days. And as he's reminded us, there's no bad days, but there are hard days. And how do we find our way through? Recently, I was talking with a group of people, and one person very candidly confessed, I just feel like I'm lost. I'm not sure what direction I'm to be going in. Remember, several years ago, I had the privilege to be in Calcutta, and I was preaching there. And while I was preaching, I had opportunity to go to see Mother Teresa's House of the Dying. And there, the Sisters of Charity were working. Mother Teresa wasn't there that day, but they took me through, and I looked and I observed the care and compassion of the people that were being ministered to, and the sisters, how they cared. It was overwhelming. And as I think about that situation, what's embedded in my mind is another story about a man named John Kavanaugh. And he was a brilliant ethicist, but he got to a point in his life, he was living in the States, when he was just overwhelmed with life. And he said, I've got to find my purpose. I need clarity in my life. Maybe you can feel that, maybe you're feeling something very similar to that as well today. I just wish I had clarity and direction. He decided to go with an invitation to visit Mother Teresa and to stay in the House of the Dying for at least 3 months, just to observe and to find his focus in life and to think about what really counts. And on the first day when he was there, he ran into Mother Teresa and she said, John Kavanaugh, what can I do for you? And Kavanaugh said to her, I'd ask that you pray for me. And she says, well, what do you want me to pray for you about? That was a good question. And he said, and then he voiced the request that had carried him across the ocean to visit Mother Teresa. He said, would you pray that I have clarity of thought? And she looked at him and she said, no, I won't pray for that at all. And he was taken back. He said, well, you seem to be a woman who has incredible clarity with what you're doing. And she said, what I'm going to pray for you is that you have trust. Because she said, many times as we go through life, we want God to give us clarity, and it's so that we don't have to trust him. But she said, what you need to do is to learn to trust in God and to take one step at a time and to walk in the confidence that he can give you. It was Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived. He was the son of David. Remember the giant killer? And he penned these words, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Could it be that today you want clarity in your life, when in reality, what God is longing for you is to trust him? You see, as we trust him, as we choose to walk with him, he opens up the possibilities. We want clarity because the wall seems too hard to climb. The river seems too vast to cross. Or for someone like a JT Jester, there are too many operations to go through. or it is just overwhelming to think about how I'm going to overcome dyslexia and to learn to read and then to learn how to write. Maybe you just feel overwhelmed today and you're just saying, God, would you just give me clarity so that I could just see where the next step is? And he is saying, I want you to trust in me. You know, as we ponder what trust is like, we have different ideas. But one that stands out to me is when my kids were younger. And we had a flight of stairs. You would come down, about 8 steps, and then there was a landing, and then you turn and go down the next level. Well, the bottom level had about 3 or 4 steps. When they were small, the kids would jump off those stairs, and I would catch them. I would grab them, and they would giggle with glee. And then they'd run back and they'd jump even farther. There was a couple times they jumped the whole length, the 7 or 8 steps, and I caught them. When they got to the age of 16, I said, kids, I really think this is enough. You're starting to push me through the back of the wall. Actually, it wasn't 16. It was more like 5 or 6. But I just wanted you to smile. Why did they jump? Why did they have so much joy? Because they were trusting in their father, their dad, who they knew would not drop them. And I want you to know today that you have a heavenly Father that is far greater than any earthly father, and you can trust him. He has said that I will stay closer to you than a brother. Scripture says that we can cast our care on him because he cares for us. And in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the darkness, the reason there are no bad days is because Jesus is one who can be trusted.
Well, Mike, I'm feeling a real big ouch, as I like to have clarity many times instead of trusting, I have to admit.
No fooling.
I know. How about you?
But that's not the way it goes, is it?
I know, it's not.
And we say, tell me what's going to happen. Lay it all out for me, plan it out. And we get mad. We shake our fists at God. We shake our fists at our friends too, because we say, make up your mind.
Right.
Like, just tell me why, so that I can be in control of my life.
I know.
And
I'm
God
guilty.
invites us, Julie, to trust him because ultimately he is in control. He knows our end from our beginning.
That's right.
There are no bad hair days, Julie. No bad hair days. Just thought I would throw that in there.
Thank you.
We're ad-libbing right now, but hey, this is the stuff of life. And as you walk out the door today after watching this program, or maybe you're watching it on your tablet, find strength in the truth, what we've been sharing today, that there is a God who cares for you, that there is a Savior who's given his life for you, and he wants to walk with you day by day.